Gotta be safe.
She's pretty. Dinghy that can move. We like our little e-propulsion motor, but when you want to go far, it's good to move.
Are you hearing my words I'm saying to you? 'Cause I'm looking in your eyes, you're looking past mine, but I'm just trying.
While walking the beach, we came across an old sign that appeared to have said once, "Beach closed, wildlife protected," so we decided to head back to the dinghy and do the rest of our exploring from that.
Why are you staring at the door like I'm in the way?
That says no entry. It looks closed. That's a much newer sign.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
I know, I'm very curious. We'll have to look it up. We have no cell phone service out here, so we will have to look it up another time.
I'm gonna get into some deeper water.
Turns out half of the beach is closed, the half above the mean high tide line, so we were probably fine where we were. Oh well.
Back to the mothership.
So we've released from the mooring ball, backing away from the line. Setting off. Getting the jib out. Our speed over ground is 7 knots.
Feels good to sail. True wind speed's about 15 knots. We're doing about 7.5 knots right now. Apparent wind angle about 80 degrees. We're about to turn downwind in a little bit. The boat feels good. We've got a reef in the mainsail. If anybody says performance catamaran sailing or catamaran sailing isn't real sailing because it's not a monohull, they're out of their mind. This is fun. It wasn't supposed to be windy today. This is surprise wind. It's a good thing.
Waking up dizzy in the morning. We fight a lot. Don't even know about what. I just want you to leave, darling. It's my only hope. Can't you see our time is up? I don't want to start over. Finally some peace and quiet since you left, so don't bother. This is how I feel now. I never had it so good. Had it so good. I never had it so good. Without your love, I know I would.
We're about 120 degrees off the wind. Apparent wind angle about 93. We are doing about 7.5 knots. I've seen 8.5. Yeah, and we're flying. The helm is very balanced. Autopilot's basically doing no work. What do you think about this, Rand?
It's nice. Got a nice breeze coming in this way.
Waking up early in the morning, and baby, I feel fine. I feel fine. I don't want to start over. Finally, some peace and quiet since you left, so don't bother. This is how I feel now. I never had it so good. Had it so good. I never had it so good. Without your love, I know I would. I feel good. I feel good. I never had it so good. Without your love, I know I would. Waking up in the middle of the night, all alone.
We turned upwind a little bit more. Our apparent wind angle is about 90 degrees. I've been seeing 8 knots boat speed, 7 to 8 knots, down to 6.5 now. Back up. One thing I wanted to mention is Randy's been doing a lot of that back there. I've basically been solo sailing the boat, which is awesome because this boat is very easily soloed or short-handed. Randy's helped out with a couple little things. She helped out when I reefed the main. But this boat's awesome. We're having a lot of fun. I'm getting my sailing fix. This boat sails much, much better than our Endeavor did. Little performance update here. We've got a true wind speed of about 11 knots. We're doing about 6.5. We've seen up to a little bit over 8. We are a little farther off the wind than a beam reach. We're almost to a broad reach and doing pretty good. We're basically on our course home right now, so we're gonna get there pretty quickly. So you can see 7.3 knots on almost a broad reach with a true wind angle of 123. We started out the day with the reef in because our true wind speed was 15 plus, and you know, it's come down a little bit, so I shook the reef out, and that was pretty easy, so pretty cool. And then this whole trip from Boca Grande back to Stock Island, we've been going downwind, so we've just basically been doing controlled jibes, and it's been really, really easy to do controlled jibes on this boat. Just move the traveler over, tighten up the main sheet, tighten up the jib sheet, slowly bring her around, and then loosen everything back up, set your course, set your sails. It's been really, really easy. I've been doing them myself even without Randy, so I'm very happy with that. Traveler situation is awesome, and that's what's making these jibes really easy. So let me show you that. So we've got just a continuous line traveler system. If you want to go to starboard, you crank it one way. If you want to go to port, you crank it the other. Lock it in place right there, and then there's your traveler. Really, really nice. Nice and easy. Then with this electric winch at the helm station here, autopilot doing its work, it's been great. Sea stay is probably about 2 to maybe max 4 footers, and really no noticeable slamming. So bridge deck clearance is good. This is where we're at. We're going straight that way. Stock Island is straight that way. And we're bringing her in, bringing her home. That's one thing I wanted to do, was get this boat out into the ocean where there's a little bit of swell, because I wanted to see if she was gonna slam at all. And so far, just a couple little taps, but nothing slowing the boat down, nothing like really shaking anything. So I would say really no noticeable slamming. It's been pretty good. She's been performing very well. Not hobby horsing, she's sailing great, sailing way faster than Freebie would. In this same wind, Right now we've got 12, 13 knots true. Freebie would probably be doing 4 knots. In this boat, we're averaging above 6 knots, so we're going anywhere between 6 to 8 knots. It's been nice, and this is without a downwind sail. And most of what we did today has been with a reef in the main. Right now, we took the reef out, so we're going a little bit faster. It's been a lot of fun.
It's been nice, very relaxing. Yeah, the movement of the boat is minimal. I haven't heard any like earth-shattering slapping. It's been good. And I have moved. Jordan conveniently had the camera off when I was up and about doing whatever, and then I laid back down and he's like, let me hit the camera.
How's baby?
Good. He just kicked me so hard I like made a noise because it startled me.
Baby's starting to get pretty big, so trying to take it easy.
Yep.
I told Randy that when we're underway, she's confined to the cockpit. She's confined to the cockpit and saloon and interior of the boat. She's not allowed to go forward. One thing that's been awesome is, you know, we've done a good amount of sailing on our own boats, but we've never actually had an autopilot. So just having that for this trip, I mean, the fatigue that you normally get from sailing is just, it's just way less. Like, it's just way more relaxing, because standing at the helm for hours on end is just, it's not fun. But this is fun.
Alright, we are approaching land and getting ready to furl in the sails.
We're gonna put in the jib first, and then we'll do the main when we get a little closer. Sometimes it's a little easier to go up forward to furl in the head sail, but it's definitely possible from right here. I could have winched it in, but kind of fun to just run up there. So we've got just the main out. We've probably got about half a nautical mile left to the channel. I'm gonna go a little bit farther, and then we'll drop the main and we'll motor in.
So now that we've had an awesome chance to really cruise aboard the Seawind 1160 and sail it for a few days, we wanted to end this video with our thoughts.
But first we wanted to give a heartfelt thank you to Sail Away Key West and our viewer Bob. As you guys recall, Bob was the viewer who let us sail his Seawind 1160. So that is 7-day weekend and it's chartered through Sail Away Key West.
So just like our other videos, we're going to put the information for Sail Away Key West as well as Seawind catamarans in the description below in case you're interested in chartering one or potentially purchasing a Seawind.
As you guys can probably tell from the footage in this video, Jordan had a blast sailing this boat, so I'm going to let him start off.
I did. I mean, this boat was just great. I mean, all aspects of it were really awesome. It sailed way better than any other boat that I've ever skippered for. It was faster, it was more stable, it was just a better platform in my personal opinion. And even though I'm not as used to catamarans, I've grown up sailing monohulls, but this was an awesome boat, and she was surprisingly fast, surprisingly agile, and we didn't even squeeze like every last bit of performance out from her because we didn't have, you know, light wind sails. This boat didn't have some of the performance options that could have been put on the boat, like a bowsprit or dagger boards and that kind of thing. So I definitely love to see a boat, a Seawind 1160 or perhaps an 1190 with those performance options, those performance sails, and to see how that performs as well, because I know it's just going to get better from what we experienced.
And as far as comfort goes, obviously I was very comfortable. I was relaxing quite a bit this trip, so that was nice. But also it's great for 2 people, even more, because there were 2 cabins that we basically never went into.
Yeah.
It worked well with the galley down. I know that's not something that I normally point out as a feature that I like, but it worked very well. It was very functional. We could hand things back and forth from the salon to the galley, things like that. And it was just great. It was more than enough for the 2 of us.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned that we didn't use 2 cabins, and you're right, we didn't even use the other head. There were 2 heads, we didn't use one of them. And I think if you tracked like a heat map of us on the boat, we would be like in the salon, in the galley, in our cabin, out on the deck, in the cockpit. But it was more than big enough for us. It was awesome, and we can definitely see, you know, with a growing family. We can definitely see that it has the size for that as well, I think.
Absolutely. There were also a lot of really nice features on this boat. The owner side was amazing. We loved the size of the berth. It was completely comfortable for the two of us. We loved having that nice head. We've not had a shower on our boat, so it was really nice to be able to just get back on the boat and shower off. And even on the sugar scoop, we were really happy with, there was a shower head back there too, so we didn't bring any salty water into the boat. It all rinsed off the sugar scoop. As soon as we got off the reef, we hopped on the sugar scoop, showered off, and then got onto the boat, which was awesome.
We took a shower every day inside the boat too, and you know, there's a 170-gallon water tank, and for 3 days we only used what?
Like 50 gallons?
50 or 60 gallons,
Yeah.
and that was taking, you know, 3 showers each,
Yeah.
and using the stern shower and cooking. I mean, we weren't being sparing.
Washing dishes. Yeah, we weren't sparing at all, and it lasted plenty, so that was nice. Same with power too, because it did have, how much solar was on that boat?
I think it was 800 watts.
800 watts of solar. We didn't worry about power at all. Like,
yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I don't even think, you know, that boat could plug into short power for air conditioning, but it never needs to plug in for anything else. Like, the batteries are fully topped off every single day by the solar. Like, it's completely independent of anything. So.
Yeah, the way they had it hooked up when we were at the dock with that boat was that the shore power only ran the AC. Nothing else was running off the shore power even when it was plugged in, which was interesting. We've gotten a lot of comments about how our opinion of this boat changed when we got a free charter, but that's actually not really what happened. After we toured this boat the first time and made our first video, a lot of people were pointing out to us the flaws that we saw weren't really flaws at all, that it was constructed that way on purpose, and explained to us why. So we were thinking in that mindset when we went to the Miami boat show, and we really looked at and examined those features there and decided that we were wrong about this boat. And we mentioned it in a live stream that Bob happened to watch. And Bob reached out to us and said, well, if you want to actually sail on this boat and experience what this boat truly has to offer, I have it in charter down in Key West. So that's how this whole situation came to be, and it definitely did inform our opinion even more.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like, when you have a performance cruising catamaran, it's always gonna look the best, not at a boat show. It's gonna it's gonna look the best sailing it, because that's what it's designed for. So when you get out and sail a boat like the Seawind 1160, that's when you fall in love with it. So our opinions about this boat had been changing for a while, and the opportunity for us to sail one came by, and now we love it because we actually got to sail it. So I think one of the big takeaways we got from this is we can really see ourselves aboard a Seawind 1160 or potentially an 1190 just by, you know, we don't really have any major complaints about the boat that couldn't be fixed with us personalizing it for ourselves. You know, there's a couple little things here and there that we would want to add or maybe change a little bit, but nothing about the design and nothing about the performance, none of that we'd want to change. It's just personal options.
A simple example of that would be, you noticed I was cramped on that bench in the back a couple times, either side of it. And we would just do away with the grill and table in between the two seats in the back of the boat and just have one nice long bench that you could actually lay out on and relax.
Yeah, and I know some of you might think we're crazy for that, but we're fine just using the galley. So, you know, if we're going to have a Barbie or something like that, it's going to be, you know, maybe on the side or somewhere else, but it doesn't need to be right there in the middle. It's more important for us to have a nice long bench that you can lay out on. There's a few other things, and the biggest one is the fact that we want to go electric with our next boat, and this boat would be perfect for that. So we wouldn't want the two 25 horsepower gasoline engines. We want to put on two 10 kilowatt outboard electric engines, and we'd want as many batteries as possible.
Enough so that we don't really have to worry too much about power, but not so much that we have to worry about weight.
Right, so lithium is definitely going to be a must. The second major thing that we want to mention is that we want dagger boards and we want lifting rudders. We just think that option is awesome, being able to get in and out of anchorages that, you know, most other sailboats can never even dream of getting in and out of. That is just a really cool feature, as well as the fact that the dagger boards will make the boat perform a lot better in the upwind direction. It'll make it point better. And that is a very important thing for an electric boat because you're going to be sailing 99.9% of the time.
So we might even want to go with the 1190 because it has a taller rig, it has dagger boards, lifting rudders, and obviously the lifting motors as well.
The 1190 is also lighter, and because of that taller rig, it has more sail area, so it's going to be faster, it's going to point better because of the dagger boards. It's just going to be all around a better performing boat. So, you know, the next boat I think that we need to logically test out is going to be an 1190. So because we want our next boat to be a not so large performance cruising catamaran, we think that we can definitely create that with either a Seawind 1160 or an 1190 in the future.
As always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and a comment down below. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button to follow along with our journey and the notification bell if you want to know each and every time we upload a video.
See you guys.
Bye.
I've got it right and I got it wrong, but I learned my lesson hanging on. Come sit here with me by the fire and